Monday. Hopefully, everybody's having a good day. Make sure I schedule this right, to be honest. So, odd time for me. So, I just wanted to go ahead and knock out my Super Bowl cybersecurity. So, just wanted to knock it out. Put a one in the chat if you can hear me. I don't know if anybody gonna show up. I know it's early for a lot of people, so I'm usually up putting in a little work. So I was gonna check my phone and make sure I even scheduled it at the right time. I did it so quick, but so let's see what's going on. So you know how we do it. If you got any questions, put them in the chat. Let's see if I can find this real quick. Struggle streaming on a Sunday. What's up, Mr. Governor? Glad you can join me. Glad you can join me. Oh, there it is. Yep, I'm live, so it's cool. If you got any questions, put them in the chat. We're gonna look at this quick video while people falling in. Appreciate you, Sir Octavius of Williamsburg. Whew.
Countdown to the Super Bowl getting smaller with less than a month until the big game.
And what were once plans now visible changes around town as the game getting closer and closer. 8 News Now reporter Ryan Matthew shows us the Super Bowl's footprint that's becoming more defined.
Allegiant Stadium is preparing for her close-up.
We've got our team on site.
The NFL is dressing it with pinks and purples. The once empty parking lots have...
So I do this every year. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. So yeah, I don't think a lot of people realize from a cybersecurity, which controls the physical aspect, it's like 40 government agencies from a physical security, cybersecurity, bombs, river, coast guards, air forces in the air. So I usually just like to tap on that. I think that's something we miss in cybersecurity, especially from a government perspective. When you throw on a worldwide event, I would call the Super Bowl a worldwide event, right? So how do you secure it? How do you make people safe? There's nation state and bad actors that want to show up to the United States and actually attack an event of this size. So I usually do this every year and just kind of touch on the piece of cybersecurity, physical security, the different agencies, and how they actually lock down the Super Bowl and different major events.
Have now turned into construction zones as the football giant establishes a 300-foot security perimeter around it.
Screening will happen across the Hacienda Bridge. That screening process is a little bit longer and obviously further out than what you'd see at a normal game.
Needless to say, this won't look like any regular in-season game. You can see their traditional rideshare parking lot here turning into an activation. The rideshare moving blocks away from here. And this is all just one example of how the footprint goes far beyond 300 feet.
So the work is going up until the week of Super Bowl.
Clark County Public Works in the midst of approving several proposed road closures for game week. This contraption will scan any vehicle requesting access to the campus.
I thought that was unique. They scanning the vehicles, checking for, I'm sure, bomb residues, see if people was in there, heat body signatures. So once again, when you do a large scale event, they pull out some unique technologies that I enjoy seeing. Let's see what my man Axel Foley 317, my area code. See what's going on. We got HomeLand spinning the block. Oh, facts. I should have did one for us. I should have went down there and took some pictures. Now that you mention it, yeah, All-Star Week is in Indianapolis. That's where me and Axel's from, 317. So yeah, they were like you said, HomeLand was spinning the block, FBI was spinning the block, so CISA was spinning the block, and we're gonna touch on some of those agencies like Axel just brought up. So let's keep it rolling. We'll probably show this at the end too.
X-ray inspection system from Customs and Border Protection, nearly a mile from the stadium.
Once they're screened and the driver is checked out, Nevada Highway Patrol will escort that vehicle to the campus.
In total, we'll have over 260 buses that'll help us move a population of 8,000 staff from several locations.
And that's in addition to thousands of traveling spectators told to be dropped off blocks away within this green box, an area of the stadium district not commonly a drop-off point.
People are able to get where they need to go.
But despite the obstacles, county leaders ensure the over 800 businesses around the campus can still get to work. For now,
there will be an impact, that's clear. But what we're trying to do is have open transparency, open communication, make sure that everybody who needs access gets the access that they need.
Important to note, those road closures have not been approved just yet. The Public Works Director expecting those to be approved nearly up to the date they need to be closed by. Now, Clark County Business Licensing also processing some 200 special event permits across the valley for the big game week.
So we're gonna read a couple articles, and I got I think it's Jen Inslee talking about cybersecurity, setting it up and doing the integration between those agencies. I had a touch of that. Most people know I used to work for the state of Indiana as a consultant, and we did our incident response. When you work for a large state, they do a BIA, which is a business impact analysis, to figure out what agency is going to come up if something bad happens, if a bomb happens or something get attacked. What order should you bring up the agency? So when we did our incident response and COOP exercise, which stands for Continental Operations Procedures, where the people are going to go is Department of Homeland sat in on it, which I thought was a little unique. I was surprised. Each large state has a Department of Homeland Security that's responsible for that state. So once again, I thought that was a little different. So let's click off these articles. I thought these were interesting, talking about the Super Bowl and the security of the Super Bowl. Once again, you know how we do it. If you got any questions, just put them in the chat. So you see that right there, and that's what my man Axel was talking about. Homeland Security got designations for certain types of events. So it's called SEER, Special Event Assessment Rating. Series events are voluntarily submitted for special events, which are sent to the Department of Homeland Security and Office of Operational Coordination by the state, local, and federal Office for Risk Assessment. Example of these events include, first off, the Super Bowl, Indianapolis 500. Shout out to us, Axel Foley. Kentucky Derby, which is right next to us. The OPS applies a risk-based methodology to all submitted events and assign their SEER rating. The methodology consists of threats, vulnerabilities, and consequences of the event. So level 1 is a significant event with national or international importance that require extensive federal interagency. Significant events with national, this is SEER 2, significant events with national or international importance that may require some level of federal interagency. 3 is events of national or international importance that require only a limited federal. Events with limited national importance that are managed at the state and local levels. Events that may be nationally recognized but generally have local or state importance. So that lets you know how much, how many resources you're going to get, how many agencies you're going to get. So they give your event a SEER rating, level 1, 2, 3, or 4, or 5, right? What does the federal government play for these events? Explosion detection, K9 teams, cyber risk assessment, venue screening. We just seen all of that in that 2-minute commercial, right? Field intelligence team, air security and tactical operations. Rumor is that Air Force usually has F-16 across the state, especially since 9/11. So if you get in that airspace and you're not supposed to be in that airspace, you're going to have a problem. The Secretary of Homeland appoints a federal coordination team. And I got some articles for the Department of Homeland Security where they break down the different agencies and how they coordinate. Federal coordination team of all SEER 1 and SEER 2 events. The mission of this team is support local officials and assist them in accessing the capabilities and otherwise unavailable to them. The federal coordination team consists of secretary personal representative for the events, liaisons, consultants with the state and local authorities on their event security and response plans, ensure appropriate coordinated federal support to federal, state, and local requests for assistance, maintain situational awareness of the event, and throughout the planning and execution phase, right? So they give you who to call if you think you have an event from that state and that locality. Once again, the government knows what the big events are. They've been doing this for years, right? So it's really if you have a new event. What's up, Carmel Drip? Glad you can join me. So from a cybersecurity perspective, once again, you talk about coordination, you talking about leading, you talking about, once again, we're going to delve into that coordination between those agencies. And a lot of people really don't think of that as part of cybersecurity. Right? Usually when we think of cybersecurity, we focus on, even on a large company, it might be a global company, right? But when you start talking about these large events, you saw the SEER event, especially SEER 1, like the Super Bowl. And once again, we're going to touch on it. There's a lot of agencies that are in coordination to make sure people are safe. So let's read a couple of these articles for dark reading. They brought up, which I was surprised, some different cybersecurity issues pertaining to the Super Bowl. So let's see, NFL, CISA. Boom. Make that a little bigger for the old people like me. Boom, boom. You see it right there. The NFL, CISA looks to intercept cyber threats to the Super Bowl. So let's read through it. Super short article. The NFL workshop gameplays for Super Bowl LV III, which is 3 of the cybersecurity sort, looking to juice up the defense. The leagues work with cybersecurity infrastructure agency, that's CISA, and Super Bowl stakeholders doing a tabletop exercise that the CISA said was meant to explore, access, and enhance cybersecurity responsibility. I got a short blip of that tabletop exercise, and they talk about what came out of that and what things they're going to actually focus on. Response capability plans and procedure ahead of the big game on February 11th, which is today, 2024, in Las Vegas at Allegiant Stadium. I've been in some long ones. I've never been in a 4-hour tabletop exercise brought together by more than 100 partners from the NFL stadium, government at all levels, according to an announcement September 21. During the exercise, participants discuss hypothetical scenarios that include phishing, ransomware, data breach, potential insider threat, all with cascading impact on the physical systems. Right, so a tabletop exercise is you just going through paper, people writing up scenarios. If there's a ransomware attack, if somebody knocks out the power for that area that the Super Bowl in, right? If there is a chemical issue in there, right? So they're going to talk about the cyber part, which is the computer stuff, right? But once again, physical systems and how they're impacted. This was safe for low stress setting of identifying any gaps in those plans, ensure we all share an understanding of the roles and responsibilities. In short, this exercise will help ensure where we're ready for any challenges that come our way on game day, says Steve Harrison, CISA Deputy Executive Assistant for Director of the Infrastructure Security. So once again, talking about infrastructure from, I guess, a nation-state attack. So let's see what Mr. Governor said as we go through. As a private business, if you're holding a big event, can you decline security assistance from Homeland Security or other entities of the government? If your business is in that area and they need to do something with it, I don't think you can decline. I think the city, and I'm guessing, I might look that up. I think the city would declare eminent domain over you. The reason why is your business, if you don't do what they say, you putting the rest of the event in jeopardy, right? So I don't think as a private businesses, you would want to decline help because remember, the Super Bowl is bringing in $1 billion for local businesses, right? So if they deem your private business in that area and you decline, I bet you your permits are going to start acting funny. If you got a liquor license, it probably won't get renewed, Mr. Governor. I just see, when you mess with the power of the United States of America, I don't think you would want to do that, Mr. Governor. But that's an excellent question. I think they would declare eminent domain and would shut you down for that particular time of the event. Once again, that's security for that big event. And I think, as you've seen in there, the Super Bowl is a Tier 1 event, right? When we went to that level. So I don't think they will let you decline. And I don't think you would want to decline. So, great question. Super Bowl, like the World Cup, is one of the most watched events globally. Successful a cyber attack disruption would be a major coup for any cybercrime group. In other words, this type of event are the white whales of the target of the sea. Uh, George McGregor, Vice President of iPrime, noted that the cybersecurity surface for sports continue to expand, as well as smart stadiums and events, more digital infrastructure to support fan and operation proliferate, such as work stops should be a critical exercise before any major event to check their security and contingency plans. He said in an email statement, such events has highly dynamic cybersecurity attack surface, which change rapidly as multiple partners, vendors, thousands of fans come together to interact with ticket system, point of sales. Using most stadiums now has Wi-Fi and via mobile devices as part of the exercise. Mobile apps which access sensitive information must be verified as being protected with impersonation or manipulation software. So once again, all that's in play. Let me look at this in there. So once again, it's a Tier 1. Oh yeah, I'm going to talk about that right now. So yeah, so this it's a Tier 1 event. And 2 is on my channel. We did a couple desktop exercises you would go through with your company. What happened if you lost power? What happened if you had ransomware attack? What happened if you had malware attack? What happened if your database, all your data got stolen? Who do you report to? Do you report to the government? If you're a hospital, HSS, I do a lot of IRS work, so I would report to the IRS if some of my data got stolen, right? So from once again Super Bowl perspective, how do you make sure you're protecting the cyber and the physical infrastructure? So let's see. Shout out to Excel Pro with the lockdown lock. See what Mr. Governor said. Laugh out, yeah, because of practice, you may not want to give up this information about your business, which could be leaked. Now that's a good point. A lot of times is I think, Mr. Governor, from that perspective, the government's probably not going to want to look at the data. They're going to make sure, like if you got Wi-Fi, you properly lock it down so nobody could go through your Wi-Fi to maybe attack the stadium Wi-Fi, right? Because since you're close to the event, so I think all in all, they probably would give you free services to actually to help your business, Mr. Governor. But once again, I'm just speculating on that. Shout out to my man Operation PBO on this Sunday morning. Peace and bless. I appreciate it, man. I thought I'd get at my Super Bowl lockdown. So once again, let's get going. There was another one. I didn't even think about this next one. So this one I thought was I wouldn't say super cool, but it just kind of escaped me. NFL security chiefs generative AI threats as a concern of as the new season kicks off, right? Deepfake videos and audio of NFL players, phishing communications via chat GPT like tools are a worry to the NFL CISO to talk about that, right? So I thought that was interesting. This is back in September 23, but since it's our NFL, I thought I would add on it because I would never think about generative AI. I know you're doing phishing, deep fakes, but once again, attacking on the NFL, that kind of caught me off guard a little bit. So once again, another short article. Let's read about it. Generative AI enabled phishing attacks and deepfake videos among the many threats by Thomas Malondo would be keeping a wary eye as the Kansas City Chiefs and Detroit Lions of the 2023 Super Bowl season today. Then remember, this is the kickoff. This is not the Super Bowl. The NFL was worried about this at the beginning of the season. As NFL Chief of Information Security, Malondo is responsible for securing the league's data system networks against a wide and growing range of threats. That's include guarding potential new attack surface caused by the growing digitalization of many parts of the NFL operation. In recent years, including ticketing, gate access systems, and various points of services fans for the NFL. His task is to keep the team on their toes, especially during a major event like the Super Bowl and the draft. Even when a single security fumble could have a significant repercussions for the brand, events, and the fans. The last thing they want is a cyber attack to disrupt operations like the ransomware attack did on the San Francisco 49ers Super Bowl in 2022. North Korea Olympic Destroyer Group did to system support in the Winter Olympics. At the end of the day, we want to ensure that the people are able to enter our facilities with great experience happening on the field and then leave the facility without having any sort of security incident impact on them. Since taking over as CISO during the 2019 season, the team has maintained an incident-free record on the cybersecurity. Orlando goes to remain undefeated this year as well. I would never put that in a public statement, right? You challenging the big hackers now to make sure you have an incident, right? So once again, I think about it, but I never really think about, once again, cybersecurity in the NFL stadiums. You know, they got systems, you know, they got ticketing, you know, they're beamed around the world. So once again, they want to make sure their brand, right, stays intact. Preparing for the system, one area that emerges as a concern is attack enabled by growing availability of generative AI tools such as ChatGPT burst on the scene in November 2022. NFL, as an entity that manages one of the most popular professional sports in the United States, is a particular target-rich environment for attackers. The NFL rosters filled with popular, valuable, and widely followed players. Millions of people watch this game weekly in the stadium via TV. Potentially attack point including systems that house players' data, fan data, credit card information, player health information, stadium access control system, and a network that power the entire infrastructure. Generative AI has tools have added to that challenge. Already there are examples of deepfake of political personalities. My worry is that they will spread in the sports and entertainment business where there will be videos and audio put out for some of our key public figures. This is not a validation of things that go viral. Credential theft and other attacking stems for AI-enabled phishing concerns. Generative AI tools allow threat actors to craft phishing emails that are a lot more convincing than the grammatically error-laden missive of the past. So awareness training for players, coaches, and around players, such as the need to protect personal identified information, social media accounts with two-factor authentication has been an important component for preparations into 2023. So let's see, I'm going to skim through there. Let's jump down to the risk-based approach. If the IT leaders in the NFL's covered of the Cleveland Browns, then NFL security frameworks provides reliable foundation for implementing controls to address various threats. Coverage case, the mission involves protecting everything from players' health data, personal information, fan data, securing building automation systems, ensuring physical security for fans in the stadiums, where everything has become digitized. The new component of security challenges the need to protect biometric data with facial authentication, express access operations for entry into the Cleveland Browns Stadium. Now, a lot of stadiums now are doing facial recognition to let you in, palm prints to pay for your food, right? So all of these are just attack vectors for the bad guys in the cybersecurity, right? We're making it more convenient, but all that convenience, once again, opens up your attack surface for cyber attacks. User training and awareness programs were a big component of preparation for the city. For the season, who is the Browns Vice President of Information Technology? Business email compromise attacks was especially big focus area for every employee, staff member that works on it, Browns equipment. So now each team seems to have a VP of technology, and now I think each team is going to have a VP or at least a senior leadership in the cyber part for each team, right? Because each team, those are billion-dollar franchises, right? So Axel Foley, we need to reach out to the coach, man, see if we can get up. As part of the ongoing effort to take a more risk-based approach to cybersecurity, the Browns recently signed up with Binary Defense, a managed detection and response service provider. Among several things, as expect Binary Defense will help enable better security posture for the team. An example he points out is Binary Defense keeping an eye on dark web chatter for mentioning specific higher risk profile individuals on the Brown team or staff, probably players too. Binary Defense is going to be proactively monitoring threats and will let us know if anything is concerned, whether that should be cyber or physical, to individuals in the organization. So once again, big money teams are upping up their cybersecurity game because now, like you said, your phone, people are buying stuff with their tickets with their phone, buying food with their phones, using face print to enter the stadium. And two is, let's not be mistaken. When you walk into the Super Bowl, your face will be scanned, and it's going to go against the local police station, any federal databases if you got any federal charges, and two is Interpol. Some of that stuff is going to be on a national, worldwide, global database. When you walk into the NFL stadium, you will be scanned. So let's not be mistaken. Once again, if you got any questions, let's keep going. Another quick short article. Let's see. This is from the CISA website, which is the Cybersecurity Infrastructure Security Agency. Between them and the Department of Homeland Security, they do most of the big events, and they do it in concert, right? So let's make that a little bigger. Let's get going. Once again, another quick article. Then once again, I got like a 20-minute of them talking about the tabletop and talking about the security they added to the Super Bowl. So let's see what my man Axel had to say. Facts, we can let Lucas Oil Lights go out like they were the New Orleans Super Bowl. Yeah, you got to be careful what you ask for, but it's just kind of interesting because as everything's become interconnected, especially with like Axel, with that network game, wireless and hard code, what you looking at, the amount of traffic there, attackers hitting all your access points, even from the Super Bowl and NFL, you got to get your cybersecurity game a little tight. So let's keep reading. So CISA, you always got to pronounce your government acronyms, right? CISA, Cybersecurity Infrastructure Security Agency, the National Football League, Alliance Stadium, partners held a tabletop exercise. Let me back up. Tabletop exercise the week to explore, access, and enhance cybersecurity responsibility plans and procedures ahead of the Super Bowl. Once again, if you're at any large state agency, everybody know I do NIST. You have to do a tabletop at least every year, right, to actually go through that. I've ran a tabletop, that's when I was working at the state. I ran them. Then we got this young guy. He took it over. He was super detailed, got it running, and we did a tabletop. I actually interviewed him. I think we had 70 people, and he actually ran it, talking about what would happen for different events. Calvin in the house. Let's see what he's chairman. Top of the AVM stream. I appreciate you. Yep. I was like, let me go and get it on up while I'm up. I was still studying for my CISP. I got to get it going, but that's a whole nother video. Let's keep going with the tabletop. Let's see. Here we go. We got the tabletop. Extras like this are a great mechanism and plans procedures. This is likely depicted. And basically, that's really what the dark reading was talking about. The CISA Deputy Executive Director. So I think this is just a recap of this that was in that other article. CISA works with sports leagues, team stadiums, and arenas around the league, around the country to develop exercise response plans for potential threats in today's environment. CISA plans and conducts over 150 exercises each year across the nation. The agency has staff strategically located throughout the United States to advise businesses, schools, and other organizations of all sizes in ways to enhance their security resilience with resources and tools and agency website. I think I got a video walking through there. So you as a business, you working in a certain agency, what are the most common attacks, right? So when I do exercise, we're going to talk about phishing, ransomware, and probably a little OWASP top 10 because everybody's usually attacking a website, right? So that's the ground floor. That's where you start. So hopefully you got tools in there. You got Defender, you got malware, you're doing some awareness training, all right, as part of that. And that's what the NFL was talking about when they were going through their tabletop. Once again, we got a short video coming up where she talks about that, talking about the coordination of different agencies that are happening. So let's go to this other one, look at some of the agencies they're going to be coordinating with. So once again, this is the CISA, Cybersecurity Infrastructure Security Agency. And these are just an overview of their website. Physical security, the vast number of physical locations that must be protected. that are preventative and protective, and strategies that can help implement those. So it talks about CISA role. Most important mission is to protect the American people as part of the mission. CISA provides access to tools and resources support for physical security and resilience. Obviously, that's why they're reaching out to the Super Bowl. And so we're just going to go through a few of their sites. We're not going to dig in, but this is what CISA helps with. I mean, you can have this active shooter in the Super Bowl, bombing preventions, insider threat mitigations, non-confrontational techniques, protective and house of worship, schools safety, securing public gatherings, right? We know the Super Bowl is a huge public gathering. Unmanned aircraft, drones into non-fly areas is a huge problem, right? So some of the bigger drones you have to register. So if your registered drone ends up in a no-fly zone, you're going to get pulled up by the FBI, right? Because they can try to figure out what you're doing, right? So once again, these are some of the CISA things. We might dig on that in another vehicle ramming mitigations, right? So you saw them scanning, and we're going to look at that again. Scanning the semis, they're actually escorting vehicles into certain zones in the Super Bowl, right? So they want to make sure it's locked down. So if you got a rogue vehicle going through there, you're going to have a problem, right? They're probably going to delete you, right? So you got to be careful with those vehicles. So this is the last article. I probably skim it, but once again, this is them talking about the various organizations that's going to be in use or be contributing to the interoperability and interagency things that they're going to be doing through the Super Bowl. So once again, let's make this a little better. The DHS, which is Department of Homeland Security, worked the NFL, Nevada, and Las Vegas partners. The Secretary of Homeland Security traveled this week to the Las Vegas, Nevada homeland. What day was that on? That was February 7th, 2020. So, they're wrapping it up. The Department of Homeland Security operates for the Super Bowl with state and local enforcement and the National Football League for the past 18 months. Department of Homeland employees work with local officials to assess potential risks, develop plans to address them. The department has lead federal agency providing Super Bowl security, has not identified specific or credible threats related to the Super Bowl. Over 385 Department of Homeland personnel deployed in Las Vegas to provide extensive air security resources, venue, cyber infrastructure security assessments, chemical, biological, radiological, nuclear, explosive detection technology, intelligent analysis, threat assessment, intellectual property enforcement, and real-time situational awareness reporting for our partners. So they're going to have a war room. There's going to be people in there. People are going to be calling in there. They're going to have drones. They're going to have cameras, right? Those 385, that's Department of Homeland Security. You're not talking about CISA's going to be on the ground, local police going to be on the ground, FBI is going to be on the ground. They're going to name some of those other agencies, but it's a lot of people that goes in. This other thing somebody brought up on one of the videos I never thought of, he goes, why is my taxpayer dollar protecting the Super Bowl? The Super Bowl is a bazillion-dollar organization. Why don't they pay for their own? I'm sure they pay for a ton of their own, but why are we subsidizing it with our tax dollars? So I thought that was a unique statement. So them Homeland FBI forensic trucks, the outside of the arena, that team's got to be passed. No, I agree with you. I agree with you. I'm sure it's not 100%. So no, I think they're paying a lot for it because they want it. But no, you're right. Any major basketball game, especially these type of events, most states have an FBI. Most FBI department in their state. Once again, I work for the state of Indiana. We have one here. I might actually reach out to them and see if I can interview somebody, right? So, but I don't want to end up on somebody's list. But let's see what my man Calvin said. The same reason our taxpayers pays for big facts, man. I don't even want to go there, Calvin. That's 100% right, man. That's the scare tactic, though. If you don't put $1 billion on the stadium, they're gonna take all that revenue out. I'm like you, Calvin. Somebody needs to do the the ROI on spending $1 billion, giving billionaires billions of dollars to build stadiums. So no, I agree with you on that. Let's keep going though. The U.S. Secret Service Special Agent in charge, Karan, is serving as the lead federal coordinator for the Super Bowl with support of various DHS component agencies and offices and other federal partners. Federal Security Director Karen Burke from the Transportation. I think I got her coming up in the next video. For TSA, I always get confused why TSA is in there. I always think of them as going through the scanners at the airport. The TSA, Transport Security Administrators, the Federal Department Coordination, Cybersecurity Infrastructure Agency, CISA Supervisor, Protective Security Advisor Gonzalez is the alternative Deputy Director Coordination. DHS leads the federal efforts to ensure the safety and security of employees, players, and fans of the Super Bowl for the last 2 decades. So even though there's a ton of organizations in there, one organization has to lead, right? That's the head, and that's the Department of Homeland Security, right? They're going to get everybody in coordination. They're going to give everybody their roles and responsibilities to see what happens. Department of Homeland Security, alongside federal, state, and governments, working to ensure that 65,000 people attending the Super Bowl and millions of people gathering together and enjoying the game across the country are all safe, said the Secretary of Homeland. There are no known credible or specific threats to the Super Bowl or Las Vegas at that time, but we are vigilant as we are prepared. As part of this effort, the NFL has announced today that they're joining with the Secure Our World Cybersecurity Awareness Campaign. I might need to dig into that. Secure Our World encourage individuals, families, small and medium-sized businesses to take simple steps such as using strong password, enabling multi-factor authentication, identify and report phishing, updating software to stay safe and secure online. The cyber safety tips will be seen as NFL experience during the Super Bowl week and during the game on Sunday, right? So cybersecurity's getting a big view. They're actually going to say, run it through the Super Bowl week so we can make sure we lock down and safe. In a historic partnership, Department of Homeland Blue Campaign, part of DHS Center for Combating Human Trafficking, and Lyft announced a new effort today to educate drivers in Las Vegas during the Super Bowl week to ensure they have tools and campaign and resources to recognize signs of human trafficking. Crimes like human trafficking can be more prevalent during events like the Super Bowl due to mass volume of people and anonymity that large crowd provides, right? So they want to make sure, nothing's going wrong. We know there's extracurricular activities during the Super Bowl and large events. I'm sure there was some here with the All-Star game, so they want to try to lock that down. And I'm sure cabs, Lyft, and Uber, you see things that look suspicious, right? Secure the Super Bowls require combined expertise, resource of local, state, and federal enforcement. Together, we're working to ensure the safe events for fans, teams, event staff, and the public. Personnel from 12 DHS components, agencies, and offices are in Las Vegas conducting these activities, identifying and assessing mitigation potential risk. DHS constantly evaluates a range of potential risks from active terrorism, cybersecurity vulnerabilities, and takes steps to mitigate them. So we're just going to touch on these different agencies. I don't think we're going to hit them all. Just once again, just peek at them. I don't think they're going to actually list them all, to be honest. Let's see what's going on. Boom. TSA is viable, we think, because the majority of people, all facts, be transported there in one manner or another. Obscure from government. Obscure, but government is obscure. No, facts on that. Facts. I guess from the CISA hack, from the oil pipeline, that came under TSA. So that always kind of threw me. But you're right. Most people, from a traveling standpoint, how they come in, and we know bad guys are going to travel in that same way too. So shout out to NC Worker. I didn't even see him come in. Shout out to NC Worker. Definitely one of the day ones. I appreciate you. Caramel Drip. Good topic. Yeah, I did every year talk about Super Bowl, cybersecurity. A lot of people just not aware from a cybersecurity and tech perspective what goes into that, right? And two is there's a lot of jobs in there. The crazy thing is a lot of times those state and feds don't pay well as more of the consultant jobs, right? whoever got the incident response contract for the Super Bowl. Oh yeah, I'm sure it's Booz Allen or one of those guys. I might try to dig into that action. You know, it's Booz Allen, one of the big dogs got that part. So let's see what agencies they named in there. So we talked about CISA. They're conducting the physical, cybersecurity, vulnerability assessment, planning, bomb safety. Offices of Intelligence Analysis working with the FBI, Federal Bureau of Investigation, to assess the threat landscape leading up to Super Bowl, including sharing timely and actionable information. Counter Weapons of Mass Destruction Offices providing surge support for its mobile detection deployment program. It is BioWatch program in coordination with the city. The U.S. Coast Guard Pacific Strike Team also supporting mobile detection deployment to bolster the department ability for interdetect chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear threats. TSA, like my man just said, will have supervisory of federal air marshal staffing. Fusion Watch Center, the primary command center for the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police during the event. Oh, U.S. Customs and Border Protection. Air and Marine Operation will support Super Bowl security operation enforcing a temporary flight restriction around Alliance Stadium. The AMO, once again, is the Air and Marine Operation, will provide eye in the sky intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance, and flight operation around the NFL venue to provide situational awareness and enhance overall security. So if your private plane gets in the wrong spot, you can have a problem. If your drone get in the wrong spot, you can have a problem, right? Then FRL received Security Act designation from DHS. We just looked at that. Allow Alliance Stadium to invest in the most current security technology, procedure, services, control, system contribution, and structural physical security. These measures grant providers of those technologies liability protection in the event of a terrorist attack. Okay, this is new for the first time at the Super Bowl. Science and Technology Directive, S&T, will deploy an easy-to-assemble, expandable security barrier that can be quickly installed to provide critical asset protection and intrusion prevention to fill coverage gaps in the security stadium. Okay, Science and Technology Directive. Okay. DHS will continue our partnership with the NFL. If you see something, say something. Public awareness campaign. DHS is working with Southern Nevada Counterterrorism Center and Las Vegas Police Department using social media and digital displays within the stadium outreach throughout the Las Vegas area to raise public awareness. In partnership with TSA, the campaign also launched this general awareness campaign. Super Bowl Sundays in the Southern Nevada's Counterterrorism Center will partner with the NFL and DHS to host a hotline tip. Actively screening and monitoring people, goods, and services, vehicles for a range of threats. DHS is leveraging significant technology assets and dedicated personnel for Super Bowl Stadium. Once again, TSA is utilizing national development forces to increase the number of transportation security officers who will be working as LSA screening to increase the number of departing passengers following the Super Bowl. TSA explosion detection K9s and their handler will be working during the Super Bowl week events and venues in the Mandalay Bay South Convention Center, Legion Center, and LSA. TSA will have 4 visible intermodal prevention response team on the ground to conduct increased counter-terrorism patrol. The USCG provides 5 K9 explosive detection teams to ensure your safety. CP is providing access, aviation security, video surveillance capabilities, non-intrusion inspection of your vehicle and cargo. Officers are also scanning cargo and entering stadium for contraband, such as narcotics, weapons, or explosives, protecting fans from counterfeit goods. So, Homeland Security investigation, making sure you're not buying 6.5 billion consumers expected to spend nationwide, trying to kick the counter fit goods, leading an emergency response effort if they should occur. So if something happens, you gotta have that on the ground. You hope not, but once again, part of your preparation. The Department of Homeland is taking steps to mitigate risk, align resources, and coordinate communication between security personnel at all levels. So let me see if there's any questions. Let's see what my man got in here. Who got fired? Let's see what Mr. Governor said. As the NFL, there's a lot of government agencies that have access to your business. For this extra security from the government, it looks like you're exposing your business to a high risk of leaks. Um, I think you're at the high risk of leak because if the government's coming out there, you're in that. Remember they showed that green box. We're about to show it again. I think if you're in that security area that they're locking down in Las Vegas, you're gonna have a lot of cyber criminals trying to get at you. You're gonna have a lot of bad guys trying to get at you. You're gonna try to get a lot of ransomware, Mr. Governor. So I think you're gonna be at a high level of risk just because you're in that area or your network or your wireless is close to the stadium. So I think you're going to be at that level of risk anyway. So to be honest, let's keep going. We were talking about this. So FEMA, Federal Emergency Management Act, supports state and local government by providing communication tools to help fans safe by ensuring state and local responders have the ability to communicate with each other. And HSI response team for standing in by to provide interior stadium tactical support if needed. The Super Bowl Sunday, CISA will deploy advisors and emergency communication coordinators to support local law enforcement, emergency responders, and private partners in there. Once again, we talked about preventing human trafficking. So let's check out the video with her talking about that for them that they're getting ready. So once again, I might reach out to Homeland Security in my area to see if they would let me interview him. I'm actually, you think Department of Homeland in Indiana, they actually in Indianapolis, you think they'll let me interview him? Axel Foley 317, you think Department of Homeland let me interview him? I'll reach out to him and see. Let's see what's going on. Boom.
Surrounding Super Bowl. The public, what are public safety information around the Super Bowl and those events related to Super Bowl. Our primary objective here is to equip the public with the information that they're going to need to navigate seamlessly through the festivities leading up to the big game and then also to seamlessly move into the stadium on game day. While the Super Bowl has again been designated as a Tier 1 special.
We just talked about that. We saw the different levels of the Tier 1. She just confirmed, right? I was 99% sure because I mean, once again, I think this is my third Super Bowl, right? But the Super Bowl is a Tier 1, so you get the best of what the United States have. You know, I know you got to connect. I don't know about that one. Let's keep I think they will. I appreciate what I'm ready. Use your eyes credentials. Let's keep going. Let's keep going.
Security rating event. There is no known specific or credible threats to the game or any of the events surrounding Super Bowl. As always, you'll see an increased security presence, not only around the stadium on game day, but also around all of our other events. More than 30 federal, state, and local public safety and security agencies have participated in the planning of this event over the last 18 months. While you'll hear from a couple of them today, I want to acknowledge and thank all of them for their exhaustive efforts over the last 18 months working with us. As a part of our security efforts, we also are partnering with DHS, CISA on the cybersecurity and infrastructure.
I feel good. She's struggling today, and I'm struggling today. So shout out to that. You know where all the big facts with the shout out to that. But no facts. But no, she's just once again collaborating what we just said. And two is, I think every year they start out 18 months, right? Then they start for. So really, while they finishing one, they already working on the next one. Right, getting to that city, getting with the organization, getting with the local agencies, making sure it's locked down. The other cool part about that is very few cities get new Super Bowls. Indiana, we finally got our first Super Bowl, but they picked us because we do the Indianapolis 500. We do the NCAA championships. We do big events, right? We got Gen Con coming here with, I think, 50,000 people. So Indianapolis, even though it's a smaller city, you wouldn't think of as big, we do a lot of big events, right? So we're known for handling this type of cybersecurity and physical security.
Security agency on its new cybersecurity awareness program, Secure Our World. Secure Our World encourages individuals, families, and businesses to take simple steps to keep themselves and those they care about and their customers safe online. You'll see us secure our world at the NFL Experience and also at the stadium on game day. Before I turn things over to our distinguished speakers, I want to provide you with a few key points for fans who are planning to join us on game day. First and foremost, download the NFL One Pass app. Everything you will need to know: entry times, locations, parking, maps, rideshare. All of that information is in the NFL One Pass app, so download that app to your phone. Please download your mobile ticket. If you have a ticket for the game, download your mobile ticket before you leave to head out to the stadium so that it is downloaded into your wallet. Make sure you head to the stadium with a full cell phone battery.
Now you're 100% right on that, Calvin Henderson. They picked Indy due to the new stadium. Facts. We spent all that money like we were talking about there. We want some Super Bowl revenue. You're 100%. Super Bowl is relevant. I think what they're doing is, you're 100% right. I think every 7 years they're gonna give it to a cold weather city. Just as to make sure they're included. So, like you said, it's really, we lucked up though that year. For us, I think it was like 50 degrees that year we had it, which is rare. The crazy thing, Dallas had the year before, after us, they had, what's that before us? They had icicle falling off the stadium and hitting people. So we got lucky, but I think they're going to start giving it to a cold weather city like every 7 years. So let's see. Yep. Let's see what camera part 2. Facts, 100%. I was just saying that. Let's keep going. But now, they're gonna give it to a cold weather city like you said. I think once every 7 years to throw them a bone.
There is no on-site parking at the stadium at all. So please use rideshare or the local Las Vegas Strip for parking. Once you have entered screening, you've passed through screening and you're headed towards the stadium, please follow the color of your ticket. You must enter the stadium and the door that matches the color that is on your ticket. Please note that access to the stadium campus will be restricted to Super Bowl ticket holders only. So if you do not possess a ticket for the game, we kindly ask that you find alternative viewing arrangements. Like any major city, traffic in Las Vegas on a normal day can be a challenge. There will be road closures in and around the stadium, so traffic will be a little worse than normal. So please plan to depart early and make sure you have time to get to the game on time. The gates will open at 11:30. If you want to sail through security screening, remember, the NFL has a clear bag policy. Only clear bags no larger than 12 by 12 by 6 or small clutches that can fit in the palm of your hand are permitted. And lastly, please leave your drones, umbrellas, selfie sticks, and weapons of any kind at home. Super Bowl is a no-drone zone. A national security temporary flight restriction will be in place from 1 hour.
We talked about that, man. You come in with a drone and they find it, man, you're going to get pulled up on the FBI. You might get federal charges, so you better leave them damn drones alone. Shout out to, Axel, 100%. We got that big event. Our downtown is almost walking. They closed a lot of streets. They kept them closed. So he's right. So once you get to Super Bowl city, it does change there. Dallas Dyson did. I was here for it, laughing. Jerry Ward just not get to. Yeah, it was crazy. It was like we had the best weather, super not traditional. Dallas had the worst part, not traditional, that weather. It was crazy. Let's see. I don't know. Oh, he's about to speak. He did look crazy, didn't he? I think he's the guy that's over CISA. I think he was the special deputy coordinator. We about to dig into that. Let's see. Cold weather will not get another Super Bowl unless they're a new stadium. Detroit, Indiana. I think we're gonna get one every 7 years, man. I think we're gonna get one. I think Detroit's gonna get another one. It's just gonna be like every 10 years or so. Kind of like you said, for that public funding. And I think if I'm a billionaire and I'm spending all this money, you're going to have to give me a Super Bowl. I don't think it's a new stadium. I think we're going to get one every 10 years. But like you said, Cal, if you got a stadium, that's definitely going to help. That's definitely going to help.
1 hour before to 1 hour after the game. Drones are prohibited for 30 nautical miles around the Allegiant Stadium. Federal public safety partners, including the FBI, FAA, and Customs and Border Protection, will be actively enforcing TFR during the game. And both criminal and civil sanctions are possible for TFR violations, so please leave your drone at home. Again, all of this information can be found on the NFL One Pass app, so please download that to your phone. So now let me get to introducing our distinguished speakers. And first up, Secretary of Homeland Security, Secretary Mayorkas.
Thank you very much, Kathy, and good morning. Last week, anyone watching the Ravens-Chiefs AFC Championship game would have noticed an unexpected and unexplained administrative timeout about halfway through the first quarter, delaying the game for several minutes. The timeout was called by security officials at M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore when an unidentified drone flew over the stadium. It does not require much imagination to understand the significant threat such an incident could pose. What happened in Baltimore underscores the vital importance of the mission 385 men and women from...
I remember that timeout. I didn't know what it was for, so they let you know security can call a timeout in the game. You know, illegal drone over there, timeout. So, wow. I guess I didn't know it was that the reason that they got the call the timeout.
The Department of Homeland Security are carrying out here in Las Vegas this week. They and all of us in the department, alongside our federal, state, and local partners, are working to ensure that the 65,000 people attending Super Bowl 58 and the millions of people gathering together and enjoying the game across the country are all safe. Our extraordinary workforce is bringing our many resources and skills to bear to do just that. To share a few examples, our Office of Intelligence and Analysis, alongside the FBI, has been assessing the threat landscape leading up to the Super Bowl and sharing timely and actionable information and intelligence with Las Vegas and State of Nevada law enforcement. Our Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, or CISA, has conducted vulnerability assessments, multiple planning exercises, and bomb safety workshops with state and local partners. As Chief Lanier announced, the NFL and CISA are also launching a new partnership today to encourage fans, NFL teams, and league personnel to take 4 simple steps to help keep themselves and their customers safe online as part of our Secure Our World campaign. The impact of this partnership will last long after the game concludes. U.S. Customs and Border Protection, or CBP, is scanning vehicles and cargo entering Allegiant Stadium for weapons, drugs, and other contraband. CBP and the Transportation Security Administration are providing citywide aviation security, video surveillance capabilities, and non-intrusive inspection of vehicles, cars.
Yeah, real quick on that, shout out to Axel 317. Yeah, that drone incident didn't last long. They must have got it down. Yeah, facts. I actually showed a video where they showed a drone. It had this net. It was shooting down. It was shooting a net to catch the other drones and make it hit the ground quick. The drones, I always think of drones being little. This drone was the size of an office. It looked like it was like 10 feet by 20 feet. So it had this net. It was shooting down other drones. So they do have that technology to take those drones out the air ASAP.
Cargo and people. Our Countering Weapons of Mass Destruction Office has deployed cutting-edge detection technology to safeguard against the calamity that such weapons can cause. The DHS Blue campaign, in partnership with Harry Reid International Airport and agents from Immigration and Customs Enforcement, Homeland Security Investigations, and CBP, is helping Las Vegas residents and visitors spot, report, and disrupt human trafficking. We even have officers working with local law enforcement authorities to track the sale of counterfeit goods like fake tickets, T-shirts, and hats. Organizing all these efforts and more is the United States Secret Service under the direction of the Federal Coordinator, Special Agent Karen Ransom, whom we will hear from in a moment. In addition, DHS and Lyft, the ride-sharing company, are launching a new first-of-its-kind partnership today to help detect and prevent human trafficking, starting here in Las Vegas during Super Bowl week and eventually expanding across the United States and Canada. Lyft will feature DHS Blue campaign human trafficking resources in its driver-only in-app Learning Center and is reaching out to Las Vegas area drivers to ensure that they know these resources are available. This outreach will ultimately help teach 1 million Lyft drivers key indicators that a rider may be a victim of human trafficking and provide resources to help, including guidance on how to contact the right authorities. I thank Lyft CEO David Risher and his team for partnering with us to help save lives and avert tragedies, especially during the Super Bowl week when this heinous crime can be more prevalent due to the mass influx of travelers. To be clear, there are no known, credible, specific threats to the Super Bowl or to Las Vegas at this time, but we are vigilant and we are prepared. 2 additional points. First, vigilance, like football, requires teamwork. None of our efforts would be as effective without the seamless collaboration of Chief Lanier and the NFL, Nevada state officials, Las Vegas city officials, local law enforcement, and the Southern Nevada Counterterrorism Fusion Center. I am grateful for their partnership, and I'm incredibly proud of the DHS personnel working alongside them. Just as important as our interagency collaboration is our partnership with the public. My ask of everyone going to the Super Bowl or coming to Las Vegas this week is to remember, if you see something, say something. My second point is a reminder to other state and local officials. In advance of pre-planned events where security vulnerabilities are of concern, our department's Special Event Assessment Rating, or SEER system, can professionally assess the event and subsequently support state and local officials in filling local capability shortfalls. The Super Bowl is a significant national event that requires extensive federal interagency support, but our expertise and resources are available to any locality, anywhere, whether you are hosting a major championship or a county fair. I strongly urge every community to take advantage of these resources whenever the Department of Homeland Security can be of assistance. Our department is ready and eager to be your partner, especially when such partnership enables our country to gather and celebrate together, safely and securely, like so many are doing in Las Vegas this special Super Bowl week. Thank you.
Thank you, Secretary. Next up, we'll have the Special Agent in Charge, United States Secret Service, Las Vegas Field Office, Karan Ransom.
So let's see what my man said. Bro, could you imagine seeing your recreation drone every spot? That's what I don't think they blow up your house, but you got to remember those drones have a remote control. I'm sure they tracking their signals, trying to figure out where that's coming from after they shoot your drone down. So, and a lot of times, some of those drones you have to register. Wow, that's interesting that the lifters government is working together on NFL security. Does that mean customers of their information is given to the government? Oh yeah, 100%. 100%. Any event like that. But two is, and if you go to their website, it's called DPA, Data Processing Agreement, Mr. Governor, which is a legal term. If you go through there, all of them says, if the legal authorities ask us for the information, we're going to give it to them. So if they have a search warrant, and let's be real, for the Super Bowl, they got a blanket search warrant. They just going to call it, the judge going to be sleek. They're going to hit a button. It's going to fax them any search warrant they want. So yeah, you're through the Super Bowl, yeah. And any app you sign up for, once again, it's called DPA, Data Processing Agreement, which is the legal terms you sign up for. I used to do that in my job as I read RFIs and RPs and us getting in work. Any software API you bring in your organization should have a risk assessment. I used to do that in my job. So part of me is reading the DPA, which is the legal part of that. All of them says that, Mr. Governor. So now that's a done deal on that. So shout out to Operation Takeover. Oh yeah, yeah. And two is a lot of times. Two is a lot of those Lyft drivers and Uber drivers. Now they have cameras pointing back so they can see the interaction. So all that data is being streamed to their local authorities with facial recognition. So let's be real. Any of those cameras you walking up to the stadium, they going straight to your local authorities, straight to DHS. Yeah, all that stuff's getting hit with facial recognition. So 100%. Impunity will be used for all mass events. Facts. I'm glad you put that. You have no privacy in those events. When you sign up for that, 100% correct. So let's not be confused. Let's not be confused. You have no privacy. Your face is getting streamed. You coming on all kind of database, facial recognition. You got any felonies or shit? Anything bigger than the ticket, you ain't gonna make it in the stadium. I promise you. You got a warrant locally, you will not make it in that stadium. 99.9% sure of that.
Good morning, everyone. As noted, my name is Karen Ransom. I'm the Special Agent in charge of the Secret Service Las Vegas Field Office, and I am the Federal Coordinator for Super Bowl 58. As a Tier 1 event designated by Department of Homeland Security, the Secret Service, along with its federal government partners.
I don't know why I like that Tier 1 designation, man. That might be my new acronym, Tier 1. Tier 1 PBO. We a high organization. We got high criticality.
Would assist the City of Las Vegas efforts for Super Bowl 58 security. Securing such a large event is a huge undertaking. It requires the combined expertise and resources of local, state, federal, law enforcement, and public safety entities to ensure a safe and secure event for the fans, the team, event staff, and the public. My role as a federal coordinator is to assist the City of Las Vegas in identifying additional capabilities needed to successfully secure an event of this magnitude. Once identified, the federal coordinating team then matches those needs from resources with the federal government to help meet those needs. We ensure an appropriate and coordinated federal support for responses for requests from our local, state, and federal partners. There are more than 750 personnel from various federal agencies assisting the City of Las Vegas for Super Bowl 58, both virtually and on site. Everyone has a role to play in making sure that Super Bowl 58 is secure. So please report any public safety concerns to law enforcement, even suspicious behavior. And as noted, if you see something, say something. In addition to Allegiant Stadium, other NFL-related events are also designated as drone-free zones. These restrictions will be communicated by the FAA. We ask that drone operators please consult with FAA resources for the latest information regarding these restrictions. Securing Super Bowl is truly a collaborative effort, and I want to thank all of the contributing federal agencies for their tireless work. It truly takes a whole-of-government approach to secure an event of this significance. I've been a special agent in charge of the Secret Service Las Vegas office for the past 2 years, and I worked alongside our local partners on various events, including presidential visits, New Year's Eve celebrations, and other major events. The success of these events speaks volumes to the collaboration and the great working relationship between our state, local, and federal partners. Public safety and security remains my utmost priority as my role as the federal coordinator for Super Bowl 58. In closing, I want to thank the City of Las Vegas, the Las Vegas Police Department, other local, state, and federal partners, and the NFL for their dedication and commitment in making sure that the Super Bowl 58 remains safe. We appreciate your hard work and your continued support as we head into game day. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Next, we'll hear from Spencer Evans, Special Agent in charge of the FBI Las Vegas Field Office.
So you see the various departments. We talked about interagency, the coordination between those and how they looked at it. So let's see what my man said. I already know, big bro. One of my neighbors, special forces for the police department. He's a drone pilot for the police force. He told me they had, yep, at a certain size, you definitely have to get those registered. Once again, I think last year I dug a little more in the drone. So, like you said, I learned about registering. The bigger drones catching the smaller drones, I thought was kind of a unique perspective. We're gonna come back to this. I brought up the Department of Homeland and just brought up a couple jobs that were in talking about the Department of Homeland. So let's peek at those real quick. Let's take a look. Let's make this a little bigger. So you see the Department of Homeland for Atlanta, Georgia, integrated with the operational vision, IT cybersecurity specialist, GS 9 through 12. It's starting at 63, but those bands are pretty big, right? So we're gonna drill down in a couple of just kind of see what those jobs entails. Department of Homeland in Philadelphia, that's a little more like it. 113, GS 13. Once again, I think GS 13 goes from 90 to 160 in that band. It's been a while since I've looked those up. So you see they have a ton. I did cyber at the top, right? So they have a ton of cybersecurity, and we talked about this. Each Department of Homeland has satellite offices in each state. So let's drill down into this GS13. Summary is under the Department of Homeland, recruits positions for critical hiring, needs, let's see, duties, coordinate federal agencies, incident response. That's what we're looking at on the screen, right? Handling requests for technical assistance report. Those events reaches out. They figure out what SEER level they are at, right? Define and manage IT cybersecurity related programs. Consult with stakeholders to evaluate functional cybersecurity requirements. Build cybersecurity coalitions among federal interagencies to promote information sharing, reduce duplication, and improve cybersecurity services. Provide situational awareness. A lot of people said that in that interview we're talking about. Cyber incident coordination and mitigation assistance for federal cyber officials. Support stakeholders. Analyze cyber threat intelligence for multiple sources to advise federal cyber officials of course of action to reduce cyber vulnerabilities, notify private and public sector stakeholders of potential cyber vulnerabilities to provide guidance on options to mitigate, presenting findings of cyber incidents and analysis to senior federal officials, participating in presenter in regional seminars, symposia, and meeting and relating to cybersecurity. So let's see what the requirements are. U.S. citizens, selected services. All federal employees are required to participate in direct deposit electronic fund process for you. We're not cutting any checks anymore, right? So you gotta have a bank account. That's what they said. A lot of people don't know 30% population is unbanked, right? Meaning they don't put their money in a bank. Department of Homeland uses E-Verify and internet-based systems to confirm your eligibility for all new hires. E-Verified, including your rights and responsibilities. This position has been identified as drug testing designation for purposes of CISA drug-free workplace. You must be able to obtain and maintain a security clearance suitable for a federal employee as determined by your federal background, right? So your credit score is going to be in there. You can't have any felonies. Once again, your credit score, I think, has got to be above 650, 600. I need to double check that. 1 year probationary period may be required. This position is designated as essential person. Essential personnel must be able to serve during the continuity of operation events without regard of declaration of liberal leave or government closures due to weather, protests, or active terrorism, or lack of funding. Failure to report or remain in this position result in disciplinary or adverse, right? So every 4 or 5 years, the government goes on strike because they're not getting funding, right? Because the Congress and them are fighting over funding, and the Senate. You still have to come to work, right? That's what they're telling you. Your job is essential, so you have to come to work, right? This is a full-time, okay, full-time telework position. Shout out to that. Remote work. Due to frequent travel requirements, selective duty location may reside within 50 miles of location identified in the announcements. Locality pay will be based on the duty location. Travel required 7 to 10 days per month. Ooh, I don't like that. It's a full-time position. Driver's license required. Qualifications, experience must be in information technology. Experience may be demonstrated by paid or unpaid experience. Completion of specific intense training, for example, IT certifications as appropriate. You must have IT related experience, attention to detail, customer service, oral communication, problem solving, specialized experience. You must have at least 1 year of specialized experience in the lower GS grade level, specialized experience that is equipped for that. But we saw above it could be certs. You qualify for a GS 13 grade level if you have at least 1 year of specialized experience at the GS 12 grade level. Provide an oversight on multiple IT projects, including benefits management and life cycle. Apply the IT cybersecurity program management and project management principles and techniques. Routine policy guidance to cybersecurity management. Educational. Some federal jobs allow you to substitute your education for required experience in order to qualify. Let's see. Evaluated required documents, standard stuff. Let's hit that and make that bigger for additional information. Duty, pretty much standard stuff. Yeah, when I left the government, they actually offered me a GS 13 when I was consulting and left to get back into the private sector. So shout out to the government. Let's see if there's any questions on there. I already know, big bro. Yep, we just talked to see what I think out here. This is about the government shut down. Facts. So let's get back to it. I just want to switch up a little bit. Let's see. Just want to switch up. Let's get back to let me share that.
Morning. The FBI is proud to support the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, the NFL, and all of other state, local, and federal agency partners in addressing security needs for Super Bowl 58. We've been preparing for this week for more than a year. We coordinated extensively with our Los Angeles and Phoenix divisions to apply lessons learned from prior Super Bowls, and we're looking forward to passing the torch to New Orleans on Monday morning. The Super Bowl may be an annual event, but every host city and every venue represents both unique challenges and a unique opportunity for the FBI to demonstrate our commitment to protecting the American people and to being the kind of partner the public and our law enforcement colleagues expect us to be. FBI support for Super Bowl 58 largely falls into one of two categories: intelligence and operations. On the intelligence side of things, we have FBI personnel stationed in our own emergency operations center and at every joint command post and intelligence center operating throughout the Las Vegas Valley. These on-premise analysts are backed up by FBI personnel assigned to 24-hour cyber and critical incident watch centers on the East Coast. We are monitoring and sharing every scrap of information that indicates a potential threat with all of our interagency, law enforcement, and appropriate private sector partners. This includes threat intelligence gleaned from social media, from open source materials, our own databases, and our own U.S. intelligence community partners. Operationally, we have highly trained agents and analysts specifically assigned to monitor, detect, and respond to a potential cyber attack from both a criminal threat actor or a hostile nation state. We have special agent bomb technicians and WMD coordinators working with a whole host of partners to keep Super Bowl events free from hazardous devices and substances. We are deploying tactical assets, including multiple SWAT teams, to serve as a force multiplier for the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. We also have dozens of agents assigned to address any tangential criminal or national security threats that may arise from those who would seek to use this week's festivities as cover for illegal activities. Finally, we have specialized personnel assigned to enforce the FAA's temporary flight restriction around Allegiant Stadium and other venues by identifying, tracking, and if necessary, disrupting any unmanned aircraft system, UAS, or drone that should attempt to violate the TFR. As Secretary Mayorkas mentioned in his comments, these critical counter-UAS missions have become increasingly relevant when it comes to high-profile sporting events, as demonstrated by the FBI investigation and subsequent felony arrest of a drone pilot at the AFC Championship game just last week. While I am proud to speak to the FBI's preparations and capabilities to support Super Bowl 58, our goal for this week is to do our work professionally and behind the scenes, so that the focus of the next several days remains squarely on the teams, fans, and visitors, which is where it should be. Las Vegas is a remarkable city, and we are honored to be a part of the team entrusted to keep it safe. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your partnership throughout the year. The FBI has been a tremendous partner for the NFL, and whenever there is threats that we face, whether it's drones or other threats, the Bureau has done an amazing job and been a great partner. Last but not least, to our host city, Sheriff, Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department, Kevin McMahill. Good friend, and what a professional team you have, Sheriff.
Well, I have to say we're pretty well prepared just by listening to all that. Good morning, my name is Kevin McMahill. I'm the Sheriff of the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department. I'd like to first start by thanking the NFL for hosting this public safety conference, making sure our community knows about how well we are prepared for this. And I think today we have shown that this is a true collaboration between law enforcement agencies at the federal, state, and local level, fire and medical, and we've been working together really since we found out the Super Bowl was coming, planning for this event since it was announced.
Calvin once again had a great point. The data set they're pulling from is unimaginable in size. Petabytes are like megabytes to us. So much, facts. And I did an interview a long time ago, probably 10 years ago. The government actually went dark because they had so much data they couldn't sift through. But now with the cloud and those NoSQL type databases, and two, is a lot of that data is unstructured, right? How do you handle it? AWS, Azure, and Google, they've been tracking a phenomenal amount of data for decades. So they brought a lot of that technology. Shout out for Facebook. Facebook created Cassandra because they couldn't track all their emails, right? Which is a NoSQL database to when you commit, when you sync up your foreign keys, right? All of that's kind of changed over the years since I've done it. I was a relational guy. But once we got to 1 billion records and you try to, a foreign key is something to double check your data's in the right place. We cut on a foreign key one day. We had 1 billion rows. It took 3 hours for it to sync up. So like Kelvin said, the data set of big data is just totally different. Once again, when I was in it years ago, probably 20 years ago, 1 billion rows was a lot of records in the Oracle database. That's nothing now. Like you said, petabytes. I think zettabytes is the next thing, whatever hell that is. But like Calvin said, the amount of data they're tracking through this is a crazy amount.
Announced. This is the first time Las Vegas is hosting the Super Bowl, as you all know. Probably not the last after they see how well we do at it. But it's also the first time we've ever had a SEER Level 1 event in our city. But let's just say we are no strangers.
That's a little surprising that this is the first SEER 1 for Las Vegas. I would think with all the conventions and things they're had at Vegas, I thought they would have had a SEER 1 event there prior. So I guess I'm super surprised this is their first SEER 1.
To hosting large-scale events almost every weekend in our city. Just recently, if you think about all the things that have happened here, we had F1, the attack at UNLV with an active shooter, the New Year's Eve event, and now on to the Super Bowl. I would just say to you that no city is better prepared. My department is prepared to ensure the safety of our visitors and residents alike. But let me be clear, we know we cannot achieve this alone. As you know, working together is a key to a safe and secure event. And that includes working with all of these fabulous resort partners and their security staff members. What I want our residents and visitors to know is that I also need your help. As the Secretary mentioned, if you see something, say something. We rely on you, as we do every day of the year, to provide tips to keep our community safe. I promise you, you will never waste our time with any suspicious reporting. Let us do the legwork to determine if the threat is real. On game day, 65,000 plus fans will come together and root for their favorite team. There's also another estimated 330,000 visitors who will come here to be in our town, to be part of the Super Bowl fun and the excitement on the Las Vegas Strip. Traffic is going to be bustling on that game day, so plan ahead so you have a smooth experience. Obviously, our goal is to keep everyone safe. At the same time, we'll continue to provide excellent service to our residents in the Las Vegas Valley. We know that we cannot commit all of our resources up here to the Strip and the Super Bowl because we have a duty and a responsibility to the people that live here to keep our community safe. We anticipate a smooth weekend. Just remember, I ask again as the community, if you see something, say something to us. We'll act on it. And the Super Bowl experience, I believe, is going to go down as one of the very best in history. You know, you might have saw that I was checking my phone while we were sitting here talking, and we know that people are going to test us. We know people are going to try things. As we sit here today, there's an individual for a publicity stunt that just are climbing up the top of the sphere. Your first responders are all over there. We're taking care of it. We know these things are going to happen, and we're going to deal with them as they come up and make sure we have the safest Super Bowl we've ever had. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheriff. I will say your team has been absolute pleasure to work with. The professionalism and the talent that you have on your team is really astounding. Thank you. Okay, we can open up for questions. Tim, you'll have to help.
Common states why Las Vegas has never had an event of 100 million plus eyes on it. Las Vegas hosts its large scale event, but not with so many simultaneous eyes on. No, that's probably true. I guess with all the people, with all the events, and I mean Vegas, has some very, very large events. So I just would assume they would have had a Series 1 event. But like you said, if it's not a Super Bowl, World Cup, I guess Formula One doesn't meet the level of Series 1, probably a 2. But no, you're correct. I don't know. I just assumed that with all the conventions and all the travel and all the big events that are there, that they would have had a Series 1 event at that level. But they should have been a Series 1 for them Tyson recipes. No, facts. Most of those people were on the pay-per-view. Tyson's fight back when that real time. I made 5 million. Was yeah, most people watch from home. Facts. Most people were watching from home. No, facts. Oh.
Mark Maskey from the Washington Post. In terms of your experiences with Super Bowls, what are the unique challenges and issues, if any, that are related to having the game here in Las Vegas? And a separate issue, the drone issue was mentioned here. That's come up with some degree of regularity now at NFL venues. What more can the NFL do, or what more would you like to see done to address that particular issue?
Well, thank you for asking that, Mike. You're welcome. Nice to see you from my hometown. Every city is different. I think the challenges posed by Las Vegas, obviously, you've got a lot of resorts here, there's a large crowd here all the time anyway, without the Super Bowl. There's other large events that are going on here all the time. The positive side of that is that the Las Vegas Metro PD deal with these large events, much like Washington, D.C., all the time. They're very, very skilled at working with the private sector partners along the Strip, the hospitality, resorts, casinos. So there's a really strong partnership here amongst the public and the private agencies. So that has made it much, much easier. But this is a complex environment, there's no doubt. It's complex for the sheriff every single day. It's complex for me until we get through Super Bowl. But it is really, I think the expertise of the agencies that work here and live here and collaborate every single day have made that much, much better. The drone issue. There's a lot we'd like to see done to help improve this drone issue. The National Football League and major sports leagues have been partnering with several others to try and push some legislation through so that they can expand counter-UAS authorities to state and local law enforcement. You know, we have more than 100,000 requests that go in for SEER ratings for large special events around the country every year, and roughly 25 to 30 of them will get a SEER rating that will authorize, you know, a strong counter-UAS mitigation program. So we'd like to see that expanded, that authority expanded, and we're working very hard on that.
My name is Matt Finn with Fox News. I respect the collaboration and preparedness that we are discussing here to keep us all safe this weekend. My question is for Mr. Mayorkas. How do you feel this morning after narrowly avoiding impeachment yesterday?
No.
I've answered this question before. I'll gladly answer it again. The allegations are baseless, and I'm focused on the work, which was what brings me to Las Vegas today.
Republicans have indicated they may hold another vote.
See, man, I think you should keep stuff on point, man. Why he got to bring up my man's impeachment, man? That's why he was looking like that. Who said he looked like the little Biden up in the comment looking strange, man? So I guess they're trying to impeach my man and get him off the back end. I dropped the link if anybody want to come up, because I'll probably listen to one more question and see what y'all want to talk about, answer any questions in the chat. But I think we should always stay on point. Yeah. No wonder he was looking like that, man. They try to impeach my man. Shout out to basketball, baseball, hockey, and other U.S. sports or dwarfed by football. Yeah, only closest FIFA World Cup. That's because it's global. Yeah, but I think soccer is bigger than football, right? Football, which is soccer around the world. I think their numbers are bigger than the Super Bowl because it's more worldwide. There's a lot of countries don't even follow. They're trying to impeach my man. Yeah, facts, man. But leave my man alone, man. He trying to protect us for the Super Bowl, and y'all bring your stuff up, man.
And they might have the numbers at that point to impeach you. If that happened, would you consider stepping aside?
No, I would not.
Thank you. One last question for the.
Cut my man off. It's like, shout out to him, man. Get off my man.
Secretary Mayorkas, I'm Lisa Guerrero with Inside Edition. Every single year, the Super Bowl has enormous security, but this year fans are really excited about Taylor Swift. There has also been some very negative pushback against her visibility at football games. Have you seen any additional threats, any credible threats that are related to Taylor Swift?
We have not. I would defer also to my partners across the law enforcement spectrum, but I have to say that we are extraordinarily vigilant when we bring 65,000 people together in a stadium, when we have 330,000 people visiting a city for a major sporting event, and when we have millions of people around the world watching it. Our priority is the safety and security of everyone in attendance, and that is what we are focused upon. And when there's an additional celebrity who will bring more attention, we are already at a heightened state of vigilance and fulfilling our responsibility just as we do every single day.
Well said, sir.
Let's go Makers, Las Vegas with you,
Sheriff McMahill, with the events of 1 October in mind, are there kind of advanced security measures at hotels as far as baggage check is?
Yeah, so we learned a number of lessons, obviously, as you well know, from 1 October and the loss of 58 lives that particular day and 422 others being shot. And so we have a number of security measures that we implement with our security partners ahead of every event, to include this one and New Year's Eve, F1, front-facing rooms, a number of things. But obviously, I'm not going to divulge all the details of those, but absolutely with our resort property partners, they're a huge force multiplier for us, but also the plans that we have with the DHS, FBI, as well as our other local partners throughout the city, we're well prepared for it. Thank you.
Hi there, Giovanni Carrillo with ABC 13. This question's for the sheriff. Could you elaborate more about the incident that's happening at the Sphere? It's my understanding there was a guy that climbed up the Sphere. Why do you call it a publicity stunt?
Because of who they told me that they believe it is. They told me that this is supposed to be an individual that is climbing the building for publicity, and he is currently on top of the building, and we're working to get him down.
Is for Secretary Mayorkas. I'm Faith Pinham with WEBN Boston. This new LIFT collaboration that the Department of Homeland Security has implemented today, what will training look like for drivers besides offering support through the app interface?
So the training is to be able to identify when an individual may indeed be a victim of human trafficking. There are certain indicators, and we train people in the private sector all of the time. For example, in a hotel, we had a case a number of months ago where an individual behind the reservations desk had been trained in detecting when an individual could be the victim of a human trafficking event. And in fact, this individual behind the reservations desk saw a young woman in the lobby of the hotel, not in Las Vegas, Nevada, knew to call law enforcement because of the behavior which struck her as unusual. And indeed, that young woman in the lobby of that hotel was not only one human trafficking victim there at the hotel, but one of about a dozen. And so what we do is we train drivers in how to detect, how to identify the indicia of a human trafficking incident, and how to contact responsible law enforcement to address the situation. We're incredibly proud of the partnership and very grateful to LIFT for it.
Can you hear me okay? Joe V. Hill with Fox 5 News. Two quick questions. What would happen to someone if they were flying a drone within the restricted area? And as far as the Sphere event goes, the person on top of that, is that a big security deal, or is it just somebody doing something dumb that you wouldn't consider a big deal? Thank you.
So I'll take a stab at the drone and turn over to you for Sphere. There is a temporary flight restriction that's going to be in place on game day. So if somebody does lift off a drone, we have technical support here so that we are going to be able to detect that drone. The law enforcement agencies here have the ability to mitigate that drone. So in other words, to take control of that drone and take it down. We typically will immediately identify the operator, and that operator is looking at both federal charges and large civil fines. Am I missing anything from my partners there? Okay.
Man, they're gonna give you a federal charge for a drone, man. I told you they don't be playing, man. You better leave them drones alone, man. You get a federal charge for them drones, man.
Sphere?
So I just add to that what Kathy said is that we also have the capability of tracking down the drone operator at the local law enforcement level, and we do that frequently. Did it a lot at F1, affected a number of arrests. In regards to the Sphere, that individual will be arrested when we get him down. It does not seem to be a Homeland Security issue at this point. However, we treat all of that critical infrastructure, obviously, very importantly, and we'll do a lot of debriefing as we get through here and figure out how he got up there and make sure it doesn't happen on any of our other buildings during this event.
Hi, I'm JL Bito with WBN Boston. I just wanted to ask, can you elaborate on the Secure Our World campaign, and also what that collaboration will look like with CISA, and also like the impact that it will have?
So I guess so Secretary talk about the detailed campaign from
Fair time and fine. Yeah, Mr. Governor, that was kind of deep. So I think I'm gonna stop it there on the questions. I said that I was 90% sure they're gonna do 50 because that they're gonna let you know when they give somebody, everybody gonna learn. Somebody gonna get fair time because they think they playing. Man. As Kevin Hart said, you're gonna learn today. We're gonna hit you with that fair time. I dropped the link and I'll drop it again if anybody want to come up. I'll stay for a hot second to see if anybody has any more questions or in there cybersecurity attack. We can do that. Once again, I try to do this every year for the Super Bowl. Because I just think it's interesting. I think from that physical security standpoint, a lot of people in cyber they don't talk about that a lot, right? Once again, I worked at the large state, so we did everything from tornado drills to coop operations. Like if your building gets hit by a plane, where could you work the next day? It's a lot different now with remote work. Old days we like, okay, we got 1,000 people. Where could they go and work? But now, right, with remote work, that has changed that dynamic, but still from a incident response, if something happens, where you're going to go, if you get hit by ransomware, if your database gets taken down, right? How can you spin it up? How can you keep working? Who do you need? Who do you, in a breach notification, who do you need to notify as part of that, right? So I always think this is interesting, once again, from the government level. Every now and then I think about going back to DOD or maybe a large government agency, but I don't know. You need to do a cybersecurity video on ads and how they can be injected with malware. Facts. So you keep hitting us with the phones, Kevin. Facts. I need to switch it up. I do that a lot, Calvin, because I think the average person, their phones. So yeah, I need to switch it up a little bit. Yeah, I need to switch it up. So once again, I hope everybody has a great weekend and start to a great week. So it's gonna be an interesting week for me. So we're gonna see how this is gonna play out. So just try to get things. Sorry about the yawning. So a little earlier video for me. Once again, I was like, let me do this before the Super Bowl. Just get it on out the way. Something a little different for me. Once again, securing big events. What is that like from the cybersecurity? And a lot of people forget. I appreciate you, Mr. Governor. $5 for the barbecue fund. So that's cool. I appreciate you. Thanks for the learning experience. No problem. We do this a lot. So I usually do more compliance work, GRC. For people who know me, I do governance, risk, and compliance. That's really what I do in my day job. And this 800-53 is usually my hammer and my staple I usually do in my everyday work with a little IRS Pub 1075. Data we get from the IRS has to be secured at a certain level in a certain way, right? So those are kind of my two bread and butter. But no barbecue on Super Bowl day. We need the BBQ, man. So yeah, so I need to. I got a few things, and I'm gonna get settled in for the big game. I don't know who I really want to win. I don't know who I really want to win. Appreciate you, big bro. Always good, man. Appreciate you for joining me. So once again, everybody have a nice weekend. Monday's almost here. Once again, I gotta do a little work to get ready for Monday. I'm a little behind at work, so knock out a few things. Once again, some GRCs, some SSP work, some DPA, data processing agreement, which is the legal stuff that you sign on when you get software. Some of that review. So doing a few things today. I'm cheering for the losing team. I'm with you, man. My coach is right there with you. So I'm in. Everybody have a nice weekend. I'm out. Just want to do something for Super Bowl. You know me. Reach out to me if you need anything. ProfessorBlackOps@gmail.com. You can always go to my YouTube channel and About page. Just click You're Not a Robot and it'll pop up. Once again, I'm out. Everybody have a great weekend. Let's go get it.